How do you sum up 100 days? How do you sum up an addiction? How do you sum up quitting an addiction? It just how do you sum that up in one pretty little package? I think the answer is you can't, but I'm gonna try my hardest. I just don't know where to start because how do you sum up 100 days? How do you sum up an addiction? How do you sum up quitting an addiction? It just how do you sum that up in one pretty little package? I think the answer is you can't, but I'm gonna try my hardest. The last 4.5 years I was a smoker, and towards the end of my smoking I was a heavy smoker, and I don't think anyone's gonna be surprised to hear that I didn't think I was gonna make it.
It is midnight 36 on the 15th of July, and I just had my last cigarette. I told myself that that packet was going to be my last packet and that cigarette is going to be my last cigarette. So I thought that because I'm typically up late anyway because content creator, I thought that if I have my last cig at night, then when I'm possibly getting some of the cravings for more nicotine, I can just sleep them off. Thought that might work for me. Don't know if it's going to, but I thought it might. I'm quitting for health reasons because, yes, I'm quitting for not just physical health but mental health reasons as well, because I'm so emotionally dependent on cigarettes and nicotine that if my anxiety gets bad, I chain smoke. If my depression gets bad, I chain smoke. If my PTSD is triggered, I chain smoke. And I don't want that anymore. But also financial reasons, like cigarettes are like $45 a packet and I'm buying like one every 2 days. So like that's like, why? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. It's unnecessary. It's useless. Like, why spend that much money on cigarettes when I could pay off debts, when I could save up and buy happy things and fun things? Like, why not put that money into something better? I don't know what is going to happen from me filming right now. I hope that I post this video and it ends with me being like, hey, I quit, oh my gosh, like it worked, I did it, yes. But I don't know what's gonna happen. And I'm scared of failing to quit again, because I always start really determined and then like 2 days later I'm just buying another pack. I have my jar and I have my sticky notes, so I have 1 to 100, so each day I get to pull one of these bad boys off and I get to put it in the jar. Just one by one get to fill up my jar, and then every week I've put a random money amount. So what's at the end of week 7? $20. So I put like a cute little $20 there and little notes to myself to keep me going. So $20 there. So on the days where I've put money amounts, it's typically like at the end of the week I've got my little envelope. I've got to fill up my, I can't get it out. I'm going to fill up my envelope with the money that these tell me to put in, so that once I hit 100 days, there will be like $200-ish in it or something. So I would have like saved about $2 grand on cigarettes. which is overall fabulous, but I'm going to be subtracting some of the money from that savings and putting it into that envelope, so that once I hit 100 days, I know that the money in here is for me to go buy myself something really, really nice that isn't for content, because I don't remember the last time I bought something nice that I didn't involve in content somehow. It's weird. I'm used to tutorial videos. I'm either used to tutorials or I'm used to my analytical videos. It's never been me that I've specifically analysed on camera. And I've never been the project. So I don't really know how to like next thing.
This, of course, like so many people, wasn't my first attempt trying to quit. Like so many people have tried quite a few times. I tell people typically that I've tried to quit 3 times because those were my official attempts to quit. But when I started smoking, there was, of course, multiple moments of, oh, I'm just gonna finish this pack and then I'm gonna stop, and then I wouldn't smoke for 2 days, and then next thing you know, I'm buying another pack because the cycle had already started. The withdrawal cycle that comes with nicotine addiction and smoking had already started, and I was convincing myself that, oh, I didn't have a problem, I wasn't a smoker, I was just doing this for the moment. So I've tried to quit quite a few times. Obviously the first like 20 did not work. My first official attempt when it came to quitting was actually when I started popping off on TikTok, because I had this little like moment where all I could think about for a solid 2 hours was a fan seeing me, getting really excited, wanting to get a photo or just say hi, and I'm just standing there with a cigarette. And my audience on TikTok was pretty young. I haven't posted it forever, but it was so young that I didn't want someone who was 10 who looked up to me or was watching my content to see me with a cigarette. It just made me feel uncomfortable. The idea of it made me feel uncomfortable. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna quit for my fans. I'm gonna quit for my fans. This is gonna be what does it, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fabulous. I lasted about 2 days. I wasn't ready, but then again, when are you ever ready to quit an addiction? And then my most recent attempt was actually February this year. I think I managed to quit for 2 to 3 days, and the reason why I quit that time, and I thought this is gonna be the one that stuck, but weirdly it didn't, even though that should have been the one that did. I was in such a financial hole. No one feel empathy for me, no one feel sympathy for me. I did it to myself. It was my own mistake. But I dug myself into such a financial hole that spending $40 to $45 every 2 days, it's madness. It's just absolute madness. And it was so weird for a solid like week or two, because I was in such a financial debt because of my smoking that it stressed me out to the point where I want to smoke more, which also just adds on top of that. This is a whole new level now. It just adds more onto that. So I quit for 2 to 3 days, got myself the nicotine mist and everything that I absolutely despise. And then something happened. I don't know what it was, but something happened and my PTSD just peaked. And I bought another pack and I went back to smoking. And like all the other attempts, I just absolutely despised myself. I hated myself. I would smoke more because of how much mental torture I was putting myself through. I was so cruel to myself every time I failed that I would just chain smoke half a pack. It was such a toxic cycle that I was in the middle of. If anyone was in my brain in those moments, you'd be it's not funny, but it's just like one of those things where I look back and I'm like, oh shit, like I've never been the nicest to myself, and I'm still not, but that was what I was internally telling myself was disgusting. If I ever said any of the things that I've said to myself to another person, you would be charging me criminally for harassment and verbal abuse, and it was a whole other fucking level.
I have to admit, I am really starting to struggle. Day one, that's sad. Shut up. Day one, really starting to struggle. I think because I'm trying to push myself to do this video so that I can like keep up the consistency of like this channel, because it's doing really well and don't want to ruin that just because I decided to quit smoking. Also, if I can get through like the first day and also film a video also without the nicotine spray, then like I'm doing really good, right? Cold turkey's a choice though. Not having a cigarette isn't gonna kill me. It's gonna do the opposite, in fact, but not having a cigarette isn't gonna kill me. It's just my brain tricking me. It's just my brain having a tantrum because I'm not allowing it to have its nicotine anymore. It's fine. I'm fine. It's gonna be fine. I can get through this video.
I know that there's a sympathy for the devil joke somewhere in there, but for the life of me, I can't figure it out. I am just not that funny today.
I definitely have cravings. I definitely want a cigarette. I definitely want to go downstairs and have my cup of coffee and my 2 cigarettes to start the day, because that's how I start the day, but that's fine. I haven't managed to edit this apologies analysis video, so I'm gonna force myself to do that today, because I want a video to go up, at least one this week. I did 3 last week and 1 this week, so my inconsistency is really up there. I've stopped shaking as well, which is really great. I started shaking really bad the first day, which is why it was so hard for me to film that freaking video. But I stopped shaking, which is awesome. I'm really glad that I stopped shaking. My cough is starting to go away as well. Like, it's still there a bit, but it's going away, which that's kind of nice. Like, I can breathe a bit better now, which is fair enough. Just little things that I haven't been able to do probably for quite a while, that I'm glad that I'm quitting. I'm sticking to this one. Because there's a hypothetical person out there that is going to quit because of this video. And if I don't make this video because I don't make the 100 days, then that person's never going to be able to quit. I forgot to list down somewhere what videos had what freaking things. I'm editing the apology video and I completely forgot, as I was researching, to write down somewhere specifically like what apology videos have what ones of my dot points in it. So because of that, I essentially had to watch all 40-ish of the apology videos again. I really want a cigarette. I can't have one, but I want one. And there's like literally like a shop just up the road from my house, like a 2-minute walk from my house. I could buy cigarettes. I could be there in 2 minutes. I could have a cigarette in my hand in like 2 minutes. I'm not going to, but it's so easy to get for me, so it's taking so much for me to not get it. And I hate that it's taking this much freaking willpower, because that's like, it's just proving to myself more that, hey, this is a legitimate addiction. You can't just quit whenever you want, because if you could quit whenever you want, then you wouldn't have put it off for so long, and also it wouldn't be feeling like this if it was just so easy to stop, because if it was so easy to stop, then I would have, and I wouldn't be sitting here like screaming in my brain that I want to go buy a pack of cigarettes. I just had a shower, oiled my face to get my skin looking a bit nicer again, and I'm doing this without a cig, and it's like, there's 76! That's wild. That's wild. I remember when like 76 used to be a good premiere overall, so the fact that I'm starting with 76 is crazy. It's really nice though.
I say this cautiously, but now that I've had this successful attempt, I'm still learning to be kind to myself. Now that I've had this successful attempt, I can look back at all my earlier attempts and recognize just the absolute mental abuse that I was putting myself through, but also be a lot kinder to myself than what I've previously been, because even though, yeah, it sucked that I picked up a packet again, at the same time, I can still appreciate and be proud of the fact that even though I picked it up, I put it back down. It may have taken me a while, but I still put the pack back down. And having all of those, for lack of a better phrasing, unsuccessful attempts meant that I was able to go back and assess what didn't work for me or what was really standing in my way before I made the decision to quit this time. As simple as learning from your mistakes. And one mistake that I made continuously, and sometimes I still have to talk myself out of it, is that I have this last pack mentality. Just, this is your last pack. Oh, just one last pack won't hurt. It's always one last pack. It's always one last hurrah, but you never actually hit that one last hurrah. You never actually hit that one last pack because it's always the last pack. And because of this, I have this cute little post-it note that constantly stuck behind my monitor where I work and produce all of my videos, and it says, it's always the next is your last, but tomorrow never comes. Because if it's always the next one is the last one, then like it's eventually got to be your last one. One thing that I definitely wanted to try with this attempt, and this is going to be a bit controversial for me to say, I don't think it was a great idea. It worked, but I don't think it was definitely a harsh choice. If you are someone who is thinking of quitting, or you are someone who is currently quitting, please talk to a professional. Don't do what I've done. Don't use it as a blueprint. This is what worked for me, and this is my experience, and we individuals, and we are going to have very different experiences. But I knew that going cold turkey was a good idea, or at least at a very base level, an interesting idea, because I haven't gone cold turkey before. I've tried the patches, which are absolutely useless for me because I forget that I put them on, and the next minute I'm smoking, I'm like, oh great, well I just wasted all that. The gum, hate it. I don't know, no, the gum is gross to me. Nicotine spray, awful experiences. I think I was using it wrong, but it was foul. It felt like I just got a big thing of baby powder and just went, and then with vaping, I don't trust it. I don't know if it's as bad as smoking, but I definitely don't think it's good for people. And if I'm quitting smoking, I don't want to then just be addicted to vaping. It seems counterproductive for me personally. So I decided that this time, if I just go cold turkey and I get the nicotine out of my system as fast as possible, I might have a better chance, because I'm not prolonging the withdrawal that I am just going to have to go through. And then the third thing that I made sure to employ, that I'm pretty sure contributed to the unsuccessfulness of my last attempts, was that I didn't have any systems in place. I didn't have any goals. I didn't have any reward system. I didn't have anything except for the fact that I wasn't allowed cigarettes anymore. So this time I had quite a few systems. I had my post-it notes that I got to pull off every day. I put cash amounts in my envelope once a week, which was also really good. I had this video to consistently hold me accountable. And then I did have two weird ones. One of the weirdest systems was the self-loathing system. This did oddly help me get through. It definitely mentally is not healthy. I have such a level of self-loathing at times that I was able to convince myself that if cigarettes are a reward and I hate myself this much, I'm not allowed to smoke. And then the last, which is also pretty weird and also not mentally healthy, but it got me through for a substantial amount of time. I find it easier to do things for other people than to do things for myself. Definitely goes into the self-loathing issue that I have. But because I find it easier to do things for other people rather than myself, I was able to semi-convince myself that if I don't post this video, a person out there in the world, some random that I don't know, someone out there in the world will never be able to quit smoking. My video is the only thing that will help them quit smoking. So if I don't make this video, they never quit. And do I want to do that to someone else? Do I want to be that bitch? Do I want to be that bitch that stops someone from quitting smoking? No. So the only way that I'm going to be able to post this video to help someone quit smoking is if I quit smoking, is if I hit that 100 days. So I did definitely utilize my mental health disorders in a really weird way to help me get through. And I'm sitting here and I've far surpassed the 100 days.
Usually I break yesterday, so I didn't break yesterday. Everything from now on is a new record, which is kind of dope. After today, I'm over halfway to a week, which is also kind of cool. So then I get to put my first money value into the envelope. I think going cold turkey was probably the best choice for me, instead of just drawing out the nicotine. In all honesty, there hasn't been really much to update on, except for, yeah, I'm still getting quite a lot of cravings. My brain essentially keeps giving me like visuals of myself smoking and just like this thought process of, oh, wouldn't this like feel so good right now? And it's like, yeah, that would, but then I have to remember like, endless cycle of withdrawal, don't want that anymore. So it's just a lot of like, I think the issue is that like it's just so accessible to me. Like it'd just be so easy to just go get them, come back home, sit down where I usually smoke and just have a few, and like it's literally no effort to go do that, but it's a lot of effort to quit, if that makes sense. So yeah, there's just a lot of that. I'm definitely feeling more stressed and overwhelmed and frustrated. I feel like my emotions or feelings are typical, but like times 10. And I just feel awful all the time. I made it through a whole freaking week. I did it. It's been 7 days. I really want a cigarette. Like I'm so proud of myself, because I've never made it a week since I started smoking. So like this is good. This is great. I'm so proud of myself, but I really want another cigarette. So the cravings are still there. I expected that, don't get me wrong, just they haven't really gone away, like, at all. I stopped smoking and then they've just consistently been there. And then in my times of weakness, I'm like, oh, I could just buy a pack and start again next week. And it's like, no, that's the whole point. That's the issue. That's the issue you're having, Janet. That's the issue you're having. That's the issue that we're having, because it's always next week. It's always tomorrow. It's always after this pack. Well, when is it going to be the last pack? When are you going to have the last pack? Huh? The answer is never. Until you suck it up and do it. So my brain keeps telling me one more pack. Just another week, just more time with the nicotine, just more time with the cigarettes. So it's been really fun for the whole week to consistently tell myself no, but it's good because I haven't had a cigarette in a week. I haven't even had the nicotine mist. I think what's really helping me right now is just my self-loathing. I hate myself so much that denying myself nicotine is a form of hatred, right? So maybe Look, I can just be really stubborn. I'm really determined, and this time I am so freaking determined to get my gift at 100 days.
At this point in my journey, according to Healthline, my carbon monoxide levels had returned to normal, my oxygen levels had returned to normal, my nerve endings had started to regrow, which was really... That was an interesting one to read, in all honesty. My risk of a heart attack had very much decreased as well, which, considering my family history, is a very good thing. And my bronchial tubes had started to relax, which meant that I had an increased lung capacity as well. And all of this is super exciting, don't get me wrong. But it was definitely hard to see and recognize all of these really good health benefits when my body, just every piece of me was just screaming for a cigarette, was just screaming for nicotine. And I was mentally trying to push through it every step of the way. And the more I pushed through it, the more my body, my brain just screamed for a cigarette and screamed for nicotine, which got me in such a weird cycle because my body was screaming for nicotine, screaming for a cigarette, and then I would mentally push through it, but that would increase my anxiety, it would increase my stress, it would increase my exhaustion, which would make me want to have a cigarette more, because how I soothed my anxiety, my stress, my exhaustion was to have a cigarette. So I was going through this really weird toxic cycle of mentally pushing through, getting stressed, anxious, and exhausted by it, craving a cigarette more, and then it just kept piling on top of it until I was just... I felt like I was going insane. I just felt like I was losing my mind constantly, and it felt like it wasn't going to end either, because the harder I fought, the worse it got. And usually it's supposed to go the other way. The harder you fight, the easier it gets, right? But no, this time you're fighting with everything you have, and it feels like the walls are caving in on you. I just was so exhausted, and I felt like I was losing my absolute mind. I am definitely struggling. I'm definitely struggling. I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm losing my mind. It's currently 7:22 on the 27th of July. I've been researching this video for so long, I've lost count. So I'm researching history of the beauty community part 3, so 2020 to 2021. I didn't think that there was that much. I don't remember there being that much drama in 2020 and 2021, except for Dramageddon part 3 or Karmageddon, depending on what you want to call it. I'm absolutely drowning. This is the kind of moment where I would literally go buy a pack of cigarettes and I would chain smoke like 4 just so that I could have a mental break. So much of my brain is screaming right now, and I'm really struggling. I just want to buy a pack of cigarettes. I won't let this moment break me. Like, I'm not gonna buy the pack of cigarettes, but if there was ever gonna be a time where I actually fucking break, it's gonna be now, because this video, this goddamn fucking video. I've been in a depression episode quite a while, and because I don't really know when it started, part of my brain is like, it started because we quit smoking, and it's like, that's definitely a possibility. So because of that, I've been drowning for 3 weeks, and I'm losing my mind, and I can't tell what it is. I can't tell if it's just that I have mental health issues, and I was coping with them or whatever with cigarettes, so it's like, okay, maybe, so is it my depression? Is it my anxiety? Is it my PTSD? Is it my borderline OCD, or just my compulsive cleaning issues, to quote one of my therapists? Or is it the nicotine withdrawal? I can't tell, but I haven't made a video in like 2 weeks. I don't know what videos to make except for Beauty Community Part 3, and that's all research, but it's like, okay, once I come out with that video, what am I supposed to come out next? Because I literally don't have a single idea, and I'm just hitting this creative wall, and then
then if I don't post videos, then I don't make money, and then I can't pay off my debts, and then if I don't pay off my debts, I can't live, and I screw up my credit rating. But also, if I don't do any of those things, and I don't keep growing my platforms, and if I don't get back on a TikTok, and if I don't get back on an Instagram, and I have to cancel more brand and PR opportunities, because I literally cancelled one today because the idea of posting once a PR box on Instagram was overwhelming. Just slowly losing my fucking mind. I don't know what it is. Like, is it a mental health thing, or is it nicotine cravings that are just in hyperdrive, or is it all of them? Maybe all of the bad things are having a party in my brain and just making me slowly feel like I'm going insane. Definitely a depression episode, but one of the ways that I would like self-medicate would be to smoke, but I can't do that. It's been like half an hour. I've finally stopped like crying, which is dope, but it's been half an hour. This is how my desk looks. Look at that! All organized. You got my whiteboard marker. You got my whiteboard markers, my smoke jar. We've got my iPad, and then we've got the little comic book that I'm hopefully gonna work on. We'll see. Maybe I'll edit that out depending on how that adventure goes, but this is how my desk looks at the moment. And then inside, boom, look at that. That is so much better. So I have an inside of my desk again, which is dope. Could probably put my iPad and stuff in there now and not have to worry about it getting damaged, so that's now a thing. Cleaning helps me think, which is good.
It was definitely my work, this channel, that took the hardest hit over the last few months in hindsight when it came to me quitting smoking, because even though I am 100% happy with every single one of my videos that I've pumped out over the last few months, except for one, I'm viewing that one as a learning curve, a very steep learning curve, but the researching, writing, editing, filming, premiere, all of it was just so fucking time consuming. It was driving me nuts. It was taking so long to do everything, to do anything when it came to working and this channel, because I didn't realize how routine my work schedule was around cigarettes. I would smoke when I was researching. I would smoke when I was writing. Every 1 to 2 hours I would film. I would go out and have a smoke break of 1 to 2 cigarettes, and at the same time read through my notes so that I knew what I was talking about. And then when I was editing, I would edit for an hour, then I would go out and have 1 or 2 smokes. Cigarettes were unfortunately, weirdly, such a huge part of production with this channel that to eliminate them completely scratched a part of my brain in the most infuriating way. But that is definitely the part that messed with me the most, and what messes with so many people the most is just the routine of having cigarettes, because unfortunately we all develop such a routine around cigarettes. I would wake up in the morning, have my cup of coffee, have my 2 cigarettes, and I would then start my day. I would smoke while I was researching, smoke while I was writing, smoke while I was filming, smoke while I was editing, smoke while I was premiering. I literally, every video that I premiered solidly for years, I would be sitting there on my phone talking to every single one of you, having cigarettes at the same time. Not doing that, I'm so happy that I stopped, but it was a very odd, uncomfortable feeling to not be doing that for quite a few premieres. And because I was trying to restructure my routine and just learn how to live without cigarettes, learn how to live as a non-smoker, everything just took longer. Everything just took so painfully long. And most of that was just strictly because I couldn't focus. I was fighting so hard with myself to not smoke that I wasn't focusing on what I was doing, so everything was taking like 2-3 times as long, which was even more infuriating, and then the cycle continues because nicotine is a evil bitch. And I guess this is where you'll start to notice that my journey, my story doesn't have this huge overarching you beat it feeling to it that I thought I was going to have, and I think so many people expect to have, because this kind of plot isn't a new story in the media. We see it time and time again of someone overcoming something like addiction, like quitting, like all of that. And there's always this kind of hooray moment, a light bulb moment. We persevere, and we have our bad times, but we also have some really good times that have smiles and laughing and our friends to help us get through it, and we eventually make it, and all of the hard work makes sense, and all of the hard work feels satisfying. And I still don't think I've hit that yet. I just don't think it's a part of my story yet. It was definitely my own fault in a way. I definitely set myself up a teeny tiny bit for failure because I thought that quitting during a lockdown would be great because I'd be removed from temptation, but quitting during Sydney's lockdown meant that I legally couldn't be around my loved ones. I couldn't be around my friends or my family. So as I was trying to adjust to being a non-smoker, as a poisoned part of my brain was just screaming for nicotine, I was alone. I could of course call, text, FaceTime, all that good stuff, but like human, like physical interaction is really different. And at times it would have made so much difference. Last time I did Beauty Community, which was part 2. Last time I did Beauty Community part 2, I was able to take smoke breaks in the middle. I was able to have a cigarette. I'm pretty sure I smoked the whole entire pack that day. And this might break me. This might actually break me. I want nothing more than to go buy a packet of cigarettes and smoke every single one of them. I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm like halfway, and I started at 12 and I'm halfway, and it's almost 8 o'clock. So I'm going to be doing this till like 1 a.m. It's going to be a good video. It's going to be worth it. And if it wasn't for the fact that I'm trying to quit smoking, like I enjoyed filming Beauty Community part 2, even though I had to refilm it after the bow, but I want a cigarette so fucking bad. And I'm glad I'm doing this for my health, and I'm going to be able to get a video out of this, which is great. But it's just, part of me is just like, is it really worth quitting if it's affecting my job? Because this is my job. And this video is taking fucking forever. I'm so angry. I'm so angry. Like, am I an angry? I'm kind of an angry person. I'm not doing okay. I'm feeling lost with my content again because I'm trying to not let it affect me, but because I'm making content that I enjoy now, or if I enjoyed it, would I be miserable? It's not that I'm miserable with my content, it's just like I can see that I'm disappointing people, and I know that you can't please everyone, but there's a part of me that wants to please everyone, even though I know that that's just not realistic, and I'm gonna drive myself insane by trying to please everyone. It's just not possible, and there's certain people out there in the world that I don't want to please. There's gonna be homophobics and racists out there, and do you really think that I want to be pleasing them?
On your way, thank you. I think it's still a depression episode. I don't think I've come out of this depression episode in all honesty. And the depression feeds into my anxiety, and then sometimes PTSD just comes in there being like, oh, let's have a party. And it's like, hey, PTSD, fuck off, you're not wanted here. Fuck up. Yeah, so I think I'm just still in this depression episode and I just haven't come out yet. And I just feel so fucking lonely. Like I have people around me, but I just feel so alone. And I just can't tell if that's because Sydney's in a lockdown again. So of course I feel alone, or if like there's something wrong with me, or something wrong with like the relationships that I have with people. And if there's something wrong with that, am I the problem? Yeah, I just feel really lonely. I just think I'm feeling like a lack of purpose and a lack of direction again. And the way that I would self-medicate that would be to smoke. And now that I can't smoke, I'm not only having these cravings that I'm having to fight, which are giving me more anxiety and making my depression worse, but also my anxiety and my depression aren't doing so great either. And I can't even get a hug from the people that I want to have a hug from. And I'm not typically a hugger. But I would give anything to be able to hug my sister right now. Didn't realize how much this was hitting me. Yeah. Just I just don't feel like I'm living at the moment. I feel like I'm existing. Yep, no, scratch that idea. I look really cute, don't get me wrong. I think this is fucking adorable. I just can't film today. I just can't film today, so I'm gonna film tomorrow. This video will go up when it goes up. So instead today, I think I'm just gonna research. I'm like borderline anxiety attack. I just feel so trapped, and I'm losing my mind. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. It's day 50. It's day 50. It's day 50. I'm halfway. That's wild. I'm halfway. I'm halfway. I'm halfway. Me? I'm halfway. I'm halfway. This is wild. Because I'm pretty sure when I first started filming this, I like put into perspective for you and my future self that when I post this video, you get to see the whole entire thing, but I have to live the 100 days. So I was, yeah, like you'll have some sort of taste test of what's to come, whereas I don't, I have to live it. So like I hoped that I would be able to sit here at day 50 and day 100 in 50 more days. Good job, me. Small celebration dance. I quit smoking. I quit smoking. I just got hit with a wave of anxiety, and it's been a while since I've had something like that. So I'm gonna fix up my whiteboard, nice and set out, and then I'm gonna go off of the whiteboard. But I just felt like maybe if I talked to the camera and filmed some of my smoking video, I'd be okay, because not gonna lie, in these moments I would just be like, you know what, I'll just have a cheeky little cigarette, but I can't do that, and I'm not gonna do that. So I'm just gonna talk to you guys and just like really try and split my brain so that I'm not thinking about nicotine. I don't know what the fuck happened. I was doing alright, and then I just got hit with like anxiety, like a lot of anxiety. Like I'm failing and spiraling and nothing I do is gonna matter, and that all the effort I'm putting in is just gonna go down the toilet and I'm gonna amount to nothing. It's been less than 3 months. Usually I get that every 3 months, but it's hitting early today, which is cute. I think it's trapped. I think I just feel really, really trapped. Like trapped in my whole entire life. I get that every few months. I just feel trapped. Oh, and I hate that feeling. And at the moment I can't fix that because we're in lockdown. So physically I'm actually fucking trapped. So that's not good. Maybe that's why I've been feeling that feeling more frequently. And just the idea of being trapped makes me like get really anxious. And sometimes I make stupid decisions because of it. So I choose not to change any part of my life when I'm feeling super trapped. So far that kind of works because I want to be thinking logically, and right now I know I'm not thinking logically, so at least there's some sort of self-awareness. Either way, so I'm feeling trapped. So I'm gonna go for a walk. And then I'm gonna do the other things, and my Met Gala video is gonna do okay, and then eventually my butterfly effect videos will do really good. And then eventually I'll feel like I have purpose. But I think that's the issue. I think that there is nothing I could do in this world that will ever result in me feeling like I have purpose.
This moment was definitely a turning point for me and helped me realize just why I felt so awful, because I started smoking after a traumatic event in 2017 that led to me being diagnosed with PTSD, and previous to that I had been diagnosed with severe anxiety and depression since I was 12, and I have quite a history of self-harm. I managed to quit self-harming in June of 2017 after my traumatic event. But unfortunately, looking back now, I can see that I put down one form of self-harm just to pick up another. I'm not going to smoke, I'm not going to buy cigarettes, I'm not going to satisfy that craving that I have, because I know it's a lie, and so many parts of my brain are already a lie. I don't want another one. The moment I realized that my vlogging for this video was actually pretty trash because it was so sparse, there was weeks that I didn't film, was actually quite a little victory for me. A little victory because I wasn't filming because I wasn't thinking about this video, and I wasn't thinking about this video because I wasn't thinking about smoking. So like, bad for video, but great for me. It was such a good feeling. It was such a nice feeling for something that is both so productive and counterproductive. And I think the weirdest and best part about this win for me was she kept going. She didn't stop at just that one little moment of realization. She kept going because it meant that every time I forgot to film for weeks, and then I would remember like, oh, I'm doing this video, I would be like, I didn't have cravings for ages. Every time I forgot to film this video, I would have a brilliant moment of, look at me go. Which is great, and it's fabulous. And it also meant that those moments where I was really craving a cigarette and was really having a hard time with it, I could sit there and rationalize with myself and be able to tell myself like, look, right now you're having these bad cravings. Right now you feel worthless. You feel like a piece of shit. Like, I know how bad you're feeling right now, but you've felt like this before. You've had cravings like this before. And you know what? Every single time you have managed to forget about those cravings. You have managed to forget about this video. And that will happen again. And eventually it'll keep going until we forget about cigarettes entirely. So it actually helps me rationalize and really push through. So I managed to find myself a new system, which was forgetting about this video. I started with having this video, and now we're finishing with forgetting about this video. And it just meant that at times I was having the most mundane day. I was having a cup of coffee in the morning, right? I was having a cup of coffee in the morning, and I was not having 2 cigarettes in the morning with it. I was just having my cup of coffee and no longer craving a cigarette. I was researching videos and no longer craving cigarettes. I was editing videos, no longer craving. Sometimes when I film, I still do, but not as much as I used to. And it's in the mundane where I found a lot of my worth. And it's in the mundane where I found my little victories, which isn't what I expected, but I'm gonna take it. I was going pretty good for weeks. You could not knock me down. I was on the biggest high. I was so excited to reach my goal. I was coming up so close to day 100, and I'm pretty sure around day 98 I was screaming at my phone because I was so excited, because I was having such a good day.
Today is a great day. Today is a great day. I'm so fucking excited. Today I woke up so good. So we are on day 98. We're on day 98. We're on day 98! Okay, so I'm feeling real good about that. So on Saturday, not even on Saturday, on Friday at 12:30 at night, I hit 100 goddamn days. So I'm on day 98. I feel on top of the fucking world. I get to drive an hour to go to my personal training session. That's how good my personal trainer is. I get to drive an hour. I get to get out of my, fucking LGA, which is fabulous. I get to go exercise and release more dopamines, because apparently I just need so many dopamines right now. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so good. I'm feeling so good. Day 98. Gonna go to personal training. I could take on the whole fucking universe. I am the queen of the world. I am the lizard queen. Fight me right fucking now. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I challenge you, man, because right now, you wouldn't dare. You would not dare. I am invincible right now. My God complex. I don't actually have a God complex, but sometimes when I get an influx of confidence, I will destroy anyone who challenges me. Anyone who dare challengeth the Reifensteinieth destruction. Either way, I'm gonna drive this hour drive, and day 98. This is fabulous.
Then day 100 hit.
Almost there. Almost there. Less than 60 seconds and I hit 100. That's fucking wild. I kind of wish I knew how I wanted to celebrate this, because I'm literally gonna hit it and I've got nothing. I might have some taro buns. Maybe I make myself some taro buns. It's just these cute little dessert buns that I have. Maybe I make those. I feel as though ice cream would make me sick. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. really something. It's really hard to think back to how I felt back then, because I don't feel like a completely different person, but I definitely feel like I've closed a certain chapter of my life, which is a really weird feeling, because something that I'm going to be talking about in my recounting of this is that I've had a history of self-harm, and I think when I took on this toxic habit, it was just my new form of self-harm. And I've been clean from not only cigarettes for 100 days, but I can't think of something else I've adopted it for. So that's really nice. I guess that's why I feel kind of like, I do feel emotional, don't get me wrong, but like I feel a bit teary. I managed to keep them in my face, but I guess it's just like, I don't know. I guess I just feel sad. Sad? Why do I feel sad? I don't know what I want to do that I wouldn't just think later, like, oh, but what was the point? Yeah, I think I'm not, yeah, I'm sad that I'm like so proud and so happy that I made it to 100 days, but I'm just sad that I don't know how to be happy about it. Hopefully I'll feel better in the morning. I'll feel more like hopefully I'll feel more that, but at the moment I don't really feel anything in a way. I feel an absence.
It just didn't feel right. I don't really know, I don't 100% know why it didn't feel right yet, but I definitely know a good amount of the puzzle because I've dealt with this for years. I find it so difficult and so unbelievably uncomfortable to celebrate myself. I don't even celebrate my birthday. It's in like 2 days. And yeah, I don't know how to do it because I've convinced myself for so long that I'm just not worth celebrating. I just had this intrusive thought going through my head the entire day that I just couldn't get rid of for the life of me. It just over and over and over, all I could hear was just, wow, how self-absorbed do you have to be to think that not killing yourself is worth celebrating? Which is just so fucking toxic, because if someone came to me and they were like, hey, like, today's my 100th day, I haven't had any nicotine for 100 days, I haven't smoked for 100 days, I would be hyping them up so much. I would be celebrating with them, I would be giving them a hug, I would take them out for dinner, I would be their little hype bitch. But like usual, I'm just like my own exception. Other people deserve to be celebrated, but I don't. Is like just a part of my self-loathing. And I thought that this time it would be different. And it wasn't, which is super disappointing, but that's okay. Because I did something different this time. Tried anyway. All day I didn't have this moment of satisfaction. I didn't have this moment of hooray. I didn't have this light bulb moment where everything made sense, but regardless this time I said, fuck it, I'm gonna try anyway. And I couldn't think really of what to do. I kept thinking to myself, like, maybe I should get some sort of food, and then I'd be able to talk myself out of fucking everything. I'd be like, oh, I'll get Ben and Jerry's. I deserve Ben and Jerry's. My brain would just be like, no, you don't. And I'm like, you're right, brain, I don't. And then, yeah, just eventually I was able to be like, you know what, fuck it. This is getting ridiculous. Do something. Just do something. So, made some cookies. I made myself some caramel s'mores cookies with burnt butter. Ooh, and might I say, they were fantastic. They were decadent as fuck. They were so good though. They were so good. I shared them with my family and some of my housemates. No one had any idea why I'd made the cookies. They just thought, oh, she made cookies. They had no idea that the reason I made them was to try and celebrate my 100th day. To quote my brother, not Monkey, my other brother, he was like, they're good, as he's stuffing his face with them. So according to my brother, they were really nice. And my housemate's response was, I've had so fucking many. So I'm guessing they enjoyed the cookies. Like, that seems like right? So the cookies tasted, fantastic. They were, Betty Crocker, eat your heart out. They were so good, but I still didn't have this satisfaction. I still felt, hollow. Yeah, hollow is the word I'm looking for. But this time, which is weirdly a very big step for me, a very weird step, but a big step. This time I tried though. I was in a pit, I was in a moment, I was in a really bad headspace, and this time I tried to celebrate and I tried to pull myself out of it. I may not have succeeded, but this time I tried, and good job me. And then here we are on day 139, which, she's 11 days off 150. Like, that's pretty. I didn't even think that I was going to make it past day 3, and here I am on day 139. No nicotine, no mist, no vapes, no gum, no patches, no nicotine, zero nicotine, not a single cigarette, not a single piece of nicotine, nothing. Day 139. Like, I may not be great at celebrating myself, but I'm still, that's a big achievement. I'm pretty proud of myself with that one, I'm not gonna lie. And the last 39-ish days have pretty much been exactly the same. I have had a lot of average days with some bad days sprinkled in there, but also some good days sprinkled in there. I have been doing a lot of research, a lot of writing, a lot of filming, a lot of editing, and not as much premiering, but that's just because I've been doing a lot of the other things, and just burning out is a really common theme at the moment, which is fine. But the one big difference that we have at the moment is that Sydney is finally out of a lockdown, yay, which means that I've been able to see friends and family, yay, but it means that I've been exposed to cigarettes for the first time in my quitting, and it definitely took a lot of willpower. Oh, so much more willpower than I thought that I ever possessed. It isn't the seeing people that's difficult, it's the going out and drinking is what I found out the hard way, because I don't know what it is about me specifically, maybe it's just a global thing, but just drinking and cigarettes go hand in hand for me. And for so long, when I go out drinking with friends, I would be drinking but also chain smoking. I'm really glad that I have some incredible friends around me, incredible people around me, because there, I'll be honest, have been times where I've been like, oh, can I just do it? And they're just like, no, you're gonna hate me now. You are going to absolutely loathe me right now, but you're gonna love me tomorrow. And they are 100% correct every single time. I have been like, I can sneak it, and they say no. I think to myself, what the fuck is... And then in the morning, when I am back to being rational and back to being clear thinking, I love them so much. To all those people, thank you so much. I have so much love and respect and appreciation for you, and yeah, just thank you so much, because even though I don't want to guilt and shame myself for slipping up, at the same time, I don't want to lose all of my hard work and effort that I've put in. And that's one thing that I'm definitely taking away from those few occasions where I needed someone to not enable me, is that I'm not out of the woods yet. After all of this hard work, effort, after all of these hours, all of these days, all of these weeks, all of these months, I still don't think I'm there yet. And that's okay. I know a lot of you are probably thinking, what have I bought with my cash stash? What have I bought with all of the dollars in the jar? And the answer is nothing. Absolutely nothing. I haven't even looked at how much money is in that jar at the moment. If I don't know how to celebrate myself, I'm not going to know what to buy myself as a reward. I've definitely had ideas, but every time I have an idea, something in me just convinces me that it's not worth it, or I'm not worth it. I start to feel a bit guilty for it. Or I think of something and I realize that it's going to be used for content, and I want something in my life where I don't accidentally use it for content, because I've done that with so many things and I just don't want it for this one, if that makes sense. Of course, if you know something that I don't know, or you can think of something that I possibly haven't thought of, please let me know down in the comments, because as I said, maybe you know something that I don't. Maybe there's just a little mental block that I'm having at the moment that you can help me alleviate. Of course, it wouldn't be a Reifenstein video without some technical difficulties. I have no idea how I've managed to do this once again, but I have lost file MVI_2069. So just a big chunk of the video is gone and it ceases to exist. Super convenient. But the positive of me losing this footage is today is actually the day I'm going to be uploading this video, because I've been editing it for the last 3 days and it is ready to go, except for the piece of footage that is missing. So the day that I upload this video marks 145 days without cigarettes, without nicotine. And I am so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself, and re-watching the 28 hours of footage that has gone into this video, I can see how far I've come. And that's one thing that I didn't know on 139, day 139. So I guess that's a cheeky little thing that we can take away from this. One thing that I definitely wanted to include in this video was another person's perspective, because I am a little itty bit too close to the situation. So I messaged one of my people who knew me as a smoker and a non-smoker, and I asked them if they noticed anything that had changed about me in my 100 and now 45 days. They said, your clothes definitely don't smell like smoke anymore, which to some people may seem like a very obvious observation, but I haven't had a sense of smell since I was 12. So that one didn't really occur to me. They said, I feel like you deal with things a little easier now, like you respond to problems with action because you don't have an instant I smoke now response, if that makes sense, which, yes. They said, while you still have your attention span being you, read. I feel like you're a little clearer thinking about things these days. They said definitely seem a little less stressed day to day, not counting overarching problems, but just less stressed in an hour to hour way, which might have something to do with point 2. And lastly, me and my clothes no longer smelling like smoke also meant that their clothes were no longer smelling like smoke either. And on top of that, my personal trainer only ever knew me as a smoker. He didn't know that I was a smoker, but he only ever knew me as a smoker. So then when I came back after lockdown being a non-smoker, he said, without even knowing what the possible reason was, that I was just looking way happier, way less stressed, and was looking way healthier, and also kind of highlighted that my teeth were looking a little bit whiter, which didn't know that. Dope. But if you are someone who is watching this video and you are wanting to quit, or you are trying to quit currently, my biggest piece of advice is to be patient with yourself, because the amount of times I have come close to failing, or I have failed in the past because I wasn't patient with myself and I wasn't kind to myself, is really sad to see looking back at it. Doesn't matter if you aren't struggling or you are struggling, talk to someone about this, talk to a health professional, talk to a health line. They can be so helpful and so important when it comes to quitting. I personally used Kids Helpline instead of a smoking focused helpline, but they really helped me get through some of my tougher days. And no matter how ridiculous the system seems, adopt systems that help you quit. What works for you is what works for you. Weird post-it notes in a jar worked for me. Self-loathing worked. Self-loathing worked for me, but you know what? It got me through some of my tougher days, and that's what matters. What matters is I am sitting on day 145. Also, my tracker app was so helpful because it meant that I was constantly able to see where I was at and see what like next record I was beating, but also it meant that I didn't have to do math. Your girl isn't great at math. And of course, remember to celebrate every single one of your goals and achievements and celebrate yourself. If you are like me and you find it hard to do that, just do something small. Just do something so that you can look back and see that you tried anyway. Because I'm telling you, it feels nicer to look back and know that I tried. And no matter where you are in your journey to quitting, whether it is 30 seconds after your last cigarette or 25 or 50 years after your last cigarette, just know that I am so fucking proud of you. And I think that's everything. I don't think I have anything extra to add in this video except for thank you. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching my journey from day 0 to day 100. Thank you for listening to me on day 139. And thank you for listening to me on day 145.